Good morning and welcome to session 3 of the Dave McCullagh International Meet for 2020. My name is Nick O'Hare. I'm joined by Grania Murphy, and we will be taking you through the first of our final sessions here this evening. Finals, of course, taking place in the morning time to reflect what will happen later on in the year, both at the Irish Olympic Trials, which will take place in April, and of course culminating with the Olympic Games, which happen in July. And this is our programme for this evening, or this morning rather. A very, very competitive field across all events, starting off with the females 400 individual medley, then moving on to the male 50 metre backstroke, female 50 metre backstroke, male 100 metre freestyle, female 100 freestyle, male 200 butterfly, where we will see our own Brendan Hyland competing for the first time in the final this year. The female 200 butterfly, male 100 metre breaststroke, which will feature the Olympic champion Adam Peaty, female 100 breaststroke, male 800 metre freestyle, and we will conclude with the female 1500 metre freestyle. Grania, good morning and welcome. How are you feeling about this morning? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, looking forward to this morning. There's going to be some fast swimming. We have a really good point that I am here. We have two international swimmers, Amy Wilmot, Hannah Miley in there. We also have actually Ellie Turner, but we also have our own Ellen Walsh to watch out here as well, so in the mix. So overall an exciting morning. We also have Adam Peaty to see later on, as you mentioned, Brendan Hyland, a lot of strong swimmers that are going to want to get out fast at this competition to be in preparation for their trials.
That's great, and we'll talk further about that later on. So moving swiftly on, we have the B final of the women's 14 and over 400 metre individual medley. The lineup is as follows: from Asgard in lane 0, Lucy Bracken. Arwen Stevens, she's from Swim Wales, she's in lane number 1. Andrea Cox from Lisburn, she's in 2. Dara Tinistra, Asgard, lane number 3. Hannah O'Shea, the Dolphin Swimming Club in Cork, she starts in lane 4. Eilish Shields, City of Glasgow Swim Team, lane 5. Lane 6 sees Isabella Wood, YDS Scotland. Bobby Harper, Northampton in 7. Cara McCormack, again a representative from Dolphin in Cork, she's in lane 8. And Jessica Heaps from YDS in Scotland in lane number 9. 400 individual medley consists of 4 individual events put together, so that's 100 metres butterfly, 100 metres backstroke, 100 metres breaststroke, and of course finishing off with the 100 metres freestyle. An event in which the lead can change on several occasions, and we're seeing already up here in the top at lane number 4 Hannah O'Shea from the Dolphin Swimming Club. She's taking it out hard. As I said, the lead will change. Grania and certain swimmers will swim to their strengths and push at different stages during the race.
Yeah, so everybody will take it out nice and strong, but controlled in the 100 butterfly. The big changes you'll really see is the backstroke and breaststroke. That is, some will have stronger backstroke, some will have stronger breaststroke, and then the last 100 is just about bringing it back nice and strong. It's everything you left in the tank out. So the big change now will happen between 200 and 300.
So obviously on that basis, Hannah O'Shea has a very, very strong butterfly. We're going to see how she transitions now into her backstroke. She's opened up a 5 metre lead on the rest of the team. Pretty even, I have to say, between lanes 1 and lane 7. This is a 10 lane facility here in Bangor. It was opened in 2013, and it's great to see that we're using all of the lanes here to give swimmers an opportunity of a second swim, and of course to get used to swimming in a final like situation in the morning time. So again, Hannah O'Shea, her lead is being cut somewhat by the swimmer up in lane number 5, that's Eilish Shields. She's from the City of Glasgow Swim Team. Where we're going to see the big difference now is on the breaststroke, where swimmers really come through. It's the longest in terms of duration in this event, and it's the one in which swimmers can make up a lot of ground should they be strong. So the first 3 at the moment. From lane number 4, Hannah O'Shea, she's with Dolphin. Eilish Shields, City of Glasgow Swim Team, and they're up in the top where you can see it, Cara McCormack from the Dolphin Swim Team, the youngest competitor in this event today. And we can see the benefit there is the backstroke. So already Eilish Shields is caught up with Hannah O'Shea, and they move now into the breaststroke leg.
Great on both swimmers out ahead. Really nice stroke there from the Dolphin swimmer Hannah O'Shea, and she is pulling slightly ahead.
And we see two different kind of styles here, don't we, Grania? With the Dolphin swimmer here, she's a little bit longer, a little bit more stretched. Her head doesn't come up as much out of the water as the person who's chasing her down there, Katie Shanahan from the City of Glasgow swim team. So Hannah O'Shea, she's coming in, she's actually extended that lead, so she got caught on the backstroke and now she's extending out. She turns there in 3:11.45, so she's got about a 3-second lead on Isla Shields. Good camera shots here this week. So you're trying to keep it nice and long. And you can compare it to the other styles of the swimmers there. Some with the overhead, over water recovery, but again that lead now extending out to about 5 or 6 meters. Looks like she has this wrapped up. Isla Shields there in second place, and a good fight happening now for the bronze medal position. In fact, those ladies are going to encroach on Shields, and I think it's going to be a challenge for the silver medal.
I think the first medal you can say is definitely Hannah O'Shea here, and then it's followed closely by Asgard swimmer and City of Glasgow swimmer on either side, with 5 Isla Shields just getting the foot ahead.
So Hannah O'Shea from the Dolphin Swimming Club now extended her lead to over 12 metres, but fighting it out now for second and third place. We have Andrea Cox up there in lane 3. She's the 17-year-old from Lisburn. Lane number 5, Isla Shields. Isabel Wood, she's coming through now in lane 6, but up there in lane 8 as she's been all the way, the 14-year-old from Dolphin Swimming Club, Cara McCormack. She's extremely challenging now, and you can see now that O'Shea, she has really extended that lead out and nobody's going to catch her. Looks like there's been a bit of a resurgence from Isla Shields. She's getting that slight lead ahead of the swimmer who's trying to chase her down, which is Dara Toonstra from the Asgard Club in lane 3. So, coming in, last number of meters, Hannah O'Shea will take this. She takes this in a time of 5:08.24. She'll be pleased with that. Second place, lane number 5, Isla Shields in Glasgow, and in third place, Dara Toonstra out of 5:16. So that's a good improvement on her swim yesterday. She swam at 5:10.56. 2-second improvement, Grania.
Yeah, really good, and it's obviously hard to come back in the morning to swim the finals. Like a lot of these swimmers will be used to swimming heats in the morning, finals in the evening, where it's changed here that they have heats in the evening, finals in the morning. So it's great to see a 2-second improvement from yesterday evening. It's definitely, they're swimming the way they should be.
And there's confirmation of the result there. Hannah O'Shea from Dolphin, 5:08.24. Hannah O'Shea, 16 years of age, so quite young ladies in this group. But moving on to the A final. So we've had heats yesterday morning, or yesterday evening rather. I'm still getting used to the fact that we're doing finals in the morning. So here's our lineup: Ellie McCartney from Enniskillen, Amelia Kane from Ards, Ellie Turner, Hannah Miley is in there. Hannah Miley, 3 times Olympic Games competitor. She's placed 6th, 5th and 4th in that area, in that structure, so hopefully she can go one better in the summer. Amy Wilmoth, who is the reigning Commonwealth Games champion from 2018. Katie Shanahan, the young 16-year-old from the City of Glasgow swim team. She won 6 medals at the European Youth Olympics, which was held last year. Our own Ellen Walsh at Temple Oak, first lady ever to go under 60 seconds in the 100 metres butterfly, from an Irish perspective. Julia Knox from Banbridge. She'll be in lane 7. Emma Scully, lane 8, City of Glasgow swim team, and in lane 8, completing the field, will be the 17-year-old from Northampton Swimming Club, Taylor O'Rourke. We just get to see Hannah Miley there. Probably one of the toughest swimmers around, Grania.
She is. She's been through a lot. 2 Olympics, numerous Commonwealth, World Championships, European. She's seen them all. I think it's fair to say that she's got a lot of the medals collected. The only ones that she is missing is the Olympic medal.
Yes, and I suppose this will be probably her last tilt at this. She's 31 years of age, swimming from the University of Aberdeen, performance swimming. Her Olympic trials will happen in April, so we can see there's a huge contingent from the UK over here to take advantage of that. So again, 8 lengths of the pool here, 400 metres, 100 metres of each stroke. Miley the last to rise to get onto the blocks.
No, that was Wilmot.
Okay, here we go. Final 400 IM.
So our first major final of the evening. Again, from the top, Ellie McCartney, Anna Skillen, Amelia Kane Ards, Ellie Turner, Perth, Hannah Miley, University of Aberdeen, Amy Wilmot, University of Stirling, Katie Shanahan up in lane 5, Ellen Walsh, Temple Oak, lane 6, Julia Knox, Emma Scully in lane 8, and at the top of your picture, Taylor O'Rourke. She's from Northampton Swimming Club. All pretty much in a line now, apart from lanes number 8 and number 9 as they do complete their turn. Some different strokes happening here in terms of technique, but we can see now just slightly edging ahead is the aforementioned Hannah Miley. Now she of course has won the Commonwealth Games in 2010 and 2014 in this event. Amy Wilmot then came and took her crown in 2018. So this will be a bit of a grudge match just to see where these two ladies are situated in advance of the trial. Miley glided in there ever so slightly into the wall, and unfortunately from her perspective is not taking the lead. It's Amy Wilmot. Wilmot now is going to go to the backstroke. We've got Hannah Miley in second place, and then in third place Katie Shanahan.
Great swims here from Amy Wilmot. Went out nice and controlled, really took it out, and then turned first in the butterfly, but was able to take it away here in the backstroke after pulling away from Hannah Miley and Katie Shanahan. So she's really going from strength to strength.
And Miley is renowned for a very, very good breaststroke leg, so I wouldn't be overly worried from her perspective. Interesting now, we can see Miley, she's the lady beside the yellow lane line there with the white hat. She's actually swimming on the lane line to try and get a bit of a drag. She's getting a bit of a challenge there from up in lane 6, or lane 5 rather, Katie Shanahan. And Ellen Walsh is still in touch. Good swim happening down in lane number 1. That's from Amelia Kane, the 17-year-old in Ards. But no change at the very front. Amy Wilmot, as she turns, she does the non-conventional turn, shall we say, in terms of a backstroke to breaststroke, which is slightly quicker. So it's as you were, Amy Wilmot, followed by Miley, followed by Katie Shanahan. Now this is where we expect to see Hannah Miley come back from strength to strength. She's an extremely good breaststroker, and you can see that both ladies in lanes 4 and lanes 3 and lanes 5, that's Miley and Shanahan, are beginning to encroach somewhat on that lead.
Great leg here for Miley. I think she's always one to watch in the breaststroke leg of a 400 IM especially. She is closing the gap on Amy Wilmot, but Amy also has a good breaststroke, so it will be interesting to see how this second 50 of the 100 breaststroke goes for Miley and of course Katie Shanahan.
And we have a great overhead shot there, and as you can see off the turn, we're now permitted for the last number of years to do a butterfly kick underneath the water when you push off on the breaststroke leg. That was banned many years ago, but it's been brought in, I think, because it was just difficult to control it and to actually monitor it. But Amy Wilmot, Commonwealth Games champion, her time of 4:39 was from yesterday, so 3:33.76. She should go certainly well underneath that. Very surprised at Hannah Miley that she's so far back, 5 seconds back, which shows that the level that Amy Wilmot is swimming at. Katie Shanahan from Glasgow, she's up there in lane number 5, but she's going to be getting a challenge now from Ellen Walsh, Temple Oak. Probably a little bit too much work for Walsh to do. So Amy Wilmot coming in, 50 metres to go. She's got a 6 metre lead. Nice turn, breathed off the turn, which is not what one normally expects, but can be forgiven over the 400 individual medley. You can see now Wilmot, she's gone to the legs, she's got a good strong kick, plenty of splash coming out the back, so putting the head down as well, breathing every two strokes, then 4 strokes. And she's been followed by Marley, and of course where she has been all the way through, Katie Shanahan from the City of Glasgow swim team. But taking it here, Amy Wilmot in a time of 4:39.63, just slightly slower than her entry time, and that was a very, very comfortable win from Wilmot, followed home by Hannah Miley, with Katie Shanahan from the City of Glasgow coming in 3rd place.
Great swims there from Wilmot and Hannah Miley, even Katie Shannon. Ellen Walsh there, 4:56 last night, and she went and done 4:50 this morning, so that's a huge jump there as well. But great swims overall, great swim there from Amy Wilmot. She took it out, she held the lead, and she will be slightly disappointed with that, slightly slower than last night, but all in all it's on a great track for their Olympic trials, which is in April, the same time as ours.
And Grania, psychologically these two ladies, they're going to be swimming against each other probably in about 6 or 8 weeks for that Olympic berth. Miley had won the Commonwealth Games in 2010, 2014. Wilmot took over in 2018. So how does that play with those ladies going forward? Does this matter, or is that setting down a marker going forward?
I think these two girls have always been neck and neck over the last probably about 10 years in British swimming for the 400 IM and trying to get on the spots for World, Europeans, Olympic Games. So I think they use it to their advantage. They're both here 6 weeks out. They know where they both are. Some might be slightly rested, some mightn't be, some might be in heavier competition. You just are in training, so you just don't know where each are. They're both not in the same home program, so it probably will Hannah will have to ask some questions to say, how is Amy doing, where can I get better? But the reality is they're going to just be focusing on themselves and trying to get themselves on that plane to Tokyo and not worry about each other.
Of course, so that's obviously it's coming 6 weeks time. So now we're moving on to the splash and dash, but on your back, the B final of the men's 50 freestyle, or 50 backstroke rather. Lane 0, Jason Mahamutoglu from Chelsea and Westminster swim team. Lane number 1, Callum Ashton. 2, Nathan Whiffen, he's from NCD City of Belfast. University of Stirling have a member of theirs in lane number 3, that's Kyle Pate. Conor Massey in lane 4, he's City of Glasgow swim team. Max Elkin, Swim Wales, 16-year-old in lane 5. Jack Munsey, Perth Swim Club, he's in lane 6. Samuel Blackett, Northampton Swim Club, 7. Adam Barnes from Ards in 8. And finishing it, James Jerkham of YDS Scotland. Gentlemen are in the water now, and this is a 50-metre dash. Fastest time here is 27.757. That's Conor Massey from the City of Glasgow swim team. And they're away first time. There is no second start, of course, in swimming. If you break, you're gone. You're disqualified. Everybody pretty much in the line here, but Conor Massey and Max Elkin are the two to actually look for. So it's Massey and Elkin, and they're taking a little bit of a run at it. Is Jack Munsey, the 17-year-old from Perth, and it looks like it's Munsey, but he's followed by Elkin, Massey and Munsey, and it looks like Munsey has it tied up, and yes, he does. Munsey. So Max Elkin winning that in 27.47. Got a bit carried away there. Hard to see these lane lines sometimes. Max Elkin the winner. Conor Massey comes in second place. He's at 27.8, and Kyle Pate, he has finished in 20. We'll just get the results there. So a good start. 27.57 was the entry team, but here we go now to the final. So we're going to see a number of international swimmers here. Some international medalists. Luke Ringback, he was on the UK relay team who medalled at the World Championships in 2019. And Joe Litchfield, who's the fastest qualifier, he placed 3rd at the World University Games in 2017. So, lane 1, that's Mark Ford, City of Glasgow, 17-year-old. Paddy Johnson here from Ards. Nick Pyle now from the University of Stirling.
From NCD, Rory McCullagh.
22-year-old Rory McAvoy from the Ennis Club. He's the fastest qualifier. There goes Greenback. We spoke about him. He's from Loughborough University. Harry Gardner. And then fastest qualifier Joe Litchfield, 22 years of age. What are you expecting here, Grania?
I think it'll be good. It'll be tight there between the two Loughborough swimmers and the two University of Stirling swimmers, and I think Rory McAvoy, we can't underestimate Rory. We've seen him pull out some great swims over the last few months, so it will be a tight race over, you know.
Yeah, McAvoy's 22 years of age. Years ago that would have been the peak age, but the peak age has now moved on, so we'll see how he actually gets on here against the two big internationals. So the lanes to look for: Litchfield in 4, Gardner in 5, Greenbank at 3, and don't forget McAvoy. Already we're seeing up there in lane number 4, it's Litchfield. So Litchfield's swimming extremely well, but he's getting a challenge there from Luke Greenbank. So it's Luke Greenbank, Litchfield, and down there in lane 2 coming out of it is Nick Pyle from the Loughborough University. So it's between Pyle and Litchfield, and looks like Litchfield has gotten the touch, and just Joe Litchfield 25.62. Nick Pyle only 17 100ths of a second behind him, and then following up in third place is Luke Greenback. Rory McAvoy, we mentioned him at the start, 26.63. He'll be disappointed with that.
He will. It was a fast race there, 25.6 from Joe Litchfield, so really great race, but yeah, Rory will be slightly disappointed with that. Slightly slower than yesterday evening's swim, so he would like to probably have got close enough to that time yesterday, but overall great race, and great to see some fast swimming here this morning.
Good. So moving on now to the women's equivalent of the event. So this is the women's 14 and over, 50 meters long course backstroke. We have swimmers from basically all over the UK and Ireland. We start with Rebecca Lowe. She's the 18-year-old from Athlone. She's in lane 0. Swim Wales have Chloe Pritchard, lane number 1. Aer Lingus, Caoimhe Quinn, she's in lane number 2. In 3 is Laura Killen, 17-year-old from Clonmel. Charlotte Cullen, the fastest qualifier from Templemore. She's in lane 4. Lane 5 sees Madison Pevler from Derwentshire, 15-year-old. Another 15-year-old in lane 6, Cora Rooney from Enniskillen Lakelanders. Ours have Florence Tinsley in lane 7. Swim Wales, Ciara Morris, she's in lane 8. And completing our lineup is Georgia Harvey, the 18-year-old from Derwentshire, and she's up there at the top of your screen in wearing the red togs in lane number 9. Cullen, of course, the fastest qualifier. Indeed, 2 of these ladies tied, the Charlotte Cullen and Madison Pevler, on 30.91, and indeed there are 5 swimmers who actually were within 1/10 of a second, so this bodes well for a very close race. So nothing at all between the top 5 in this. Cullen using the the underwater 15 meters to the maximum of advantage, and it seems like it's Cullen who's pulling away there. Cullen up there in lane 4 in between the 2 yellow lines, but look up there for Ciara Morris from Swim Wales up in lane number 8. She seems to have stolen a march in all of these ladies, and it looks like it's very going to be likely Morris and Cullen, and down in lane number 2 is Chloe, is actually Caoimhe Quinn from the Aer Lingus Swim Club. So we didn't see that one coming. 30.84, Caoimhe Quinn. Ciara Morris from Wales, the 18-year-old, she finishes in 2nd place. And then of course Charlotte Cullen from Templemore in 31.00. So only 2 of those ladies went faster than what they did last night, Grania, so shows the difference between swimming in morning and nighttime.
Absolutely, and there is quite a young, like 15, 16. The oldest there is 18 in that final, so it is tough. It's probably their first time going from heats in the evening, finals in the morning, and that does take some time to get used to. So it will be interesting to see how they progress as the weekend go on, as they get used to it.
Very good. So we're moving on now to the final of this event. Irish record stands here at 29.15. That's held by Danielle Hill. That's a 4-year-old record, so we'll keep an eye on that. Danielle, of course, is the 5th fastest qualifier. That's actually the junior record that I was looking at. The 50 backstroke record is at 27.95. So keep an eye on that. So our lineup: Anna Green, she's in lane 0 from YDS Scotland. Ards have Rebecca Reid in lane 1. Jenna McDougall from Otter, lane number 2. Maria Godden, Kilkenny, lane number 3. Kathleen Dawson, a finalist at the World Championships in 2017, 23-year-old from the University of Stirling. She's the fastest qualifier. She's in lane 4. Danielle Hill, the Irish record holder, over a second outside of her Irish record. She's from Larne and she's in lane 5. Harriet West, Loughborough, lane 6. Meddy Harris from Swin Gwynedd Performance. She's in lane 7. Lane 8 sees Ava Simpson. She's YDS Scotland. And completing the lineup is Ellie Turner from the City of Perth Swim Club. So the lanes to watch: lanes 4, 5 and 3. Dawson and Hill, they were the only two swimmers to actually break the 29-second mark. Dawson and Hill swimming both there in lane 4 and lane 5, surrounded by the yellow lines, and it's Dawson just narrowing slightly ahead of Hill, but she's not letting it have it her own way. Dawson and Hill, it seems it's down to these two ladies. 10 metres to go, stroke by stroke, and it looks like Dawson is just going to edge it. Coming down to the final finish here, Dawson and Hill, and it is Kathleen Dawson and Hill. They actually tie for it, and it's a time of 28.35. So that's our first tie of the event. That's Dawson and Hill, 28.35. They should be happy with that. That's an improvement growing on yesterday's performance.
Really happy with that, and it's great to see. So Kathleen Dawson went 28.36, so 0.01 faster this morning, and it's great to see Danielle Hill 28.35. You can see both athletes very, very, very happy after that swim. Sets them up great for the rest of the weekend. I'm sure there's 100 to come and other events to come as well.
And 0.4 of a second improvement from Danielle Hill versus last night. So that bodes well. It shows that she's actually, would indicate to us that she's adjusted very well to swimming in the morning, where swimmers normally try and get their best performance at night time. It's hard to make that adjustment. So the fact that she could actually come out here and go 0.4 of a second, which is a significant amount over a 50 backstroke.
Absolutely, and I think you have to look at it too when you go to Worlds, Europeans, you have to go out there and swim fast in the morning to make it back in the evening. So this is where this is coming from. Like, you have to get out and swim fast. It's going to prepare us for the trials where you have to get out and swim fast in the morning to make it back at the major competitions in the afternoon, but also for Irish Open.
And of course that is part of what John Rudd and the high performance team are trying to implement, is trying to get people swimming fast all the time and not just waiting for the finals. So our next event is event number 6, and it is the men's 100 metres freestyle. The big attraction to this, who we will see in the final.
So we've just got medal presentations.
So we're going to go on to medal presentations. So we're going to pause briefly, and we're going to get our medal presentations. We've already seen the 400 metre individual medley, and what was expected to be a big battle there between Amy Wilmot and Hannah Wiley, but Wilmot won that very, very comfortably, with Wiley coming in second place. 50 metre backstroke was an interesting event with both Joe Litchfield and Luke Greenback fighting it out, and we've just seen the women's 50 backstroke, where we had our first tie of the session, and that was Danielle Hill and Kathleen Dawson. So Grania, this time of year we've got 4 or 5 weeks to the Irish Open, which doubles as the Olympic trials. It's the only time for people to qualify for the Olympic Games. What's going on with these swimmers?
I think it'll be different this year because before it wasn't just that you had to do it at the Irish Open, there was different opportunities that you had. So I think the athletes will definitely have a different approach to Irish Open. They will be obviously trying to prepare for that as their major competition that they need to perform, and that's exactly what we want. But I think it'll be a different approach from coaches as well to make sure that their athletes are performing at that time. They're going to use this competition as a preparation competition. None of them are really going to be rested. Yes, they might have had an easier week because they were competing, but overall they're going to still be in pretty heavy training and probably starting tapers in the next week or two.
Okay, and so you mentioned the word taper, you mentioned resting. Do you want to talk through that a little bit, like what actually happens during a taper? So some people would have the impression that you're coming up to a major meet that you'll train harder, but it's actually quite the opposite, isn't it?
It is. So a lot of their work, all of their hard work will be actually 90% done now. And there will be a few sets to get them ticking over. For distance swimmers and sprinters, it will be very, very different. Distance swimmers will probably only take about a two-week taper, 3-week maximum. Sprinters, obviously, that little bit longer. So it really depends on the event that they're focusing on, when it is at the Irish Open. And there's a lot of factors to consider, but it will be around deloading, easier sets, more rest, and then getting them sharp and getting them swimming fast.
And then higher quality, of course, trying to swim at race pace and things like that. I remember I was shocked actually when I was preparing to qualify for the Olympic Games with my coach, a gentleman by the name of Troy Dalby, who won 2 Olympic gold medals in 1988. He was on the 2 US relay teams, and actually the only US person ever to beat Matt Biondi over 200 meter freestyle. And he came into me and says, right, we're going on a 5-week taper. And I got a 5-week taper. I'd only ever been used to a 3-week taper, and it works. But it's a fine balance, and you know, we saw back in 2012 where Michael Phelps, they reckon that he missed his taper by about 3 days. So he had 2 or 3 days of not great results. He didn't medal in the 400 individually that year, and then he obviously came through and won a number of events later on in the week. So it is a fine balance about timing and about getting it right and wrong, isn't it?
It is, and I think like you said, not a lot of athletes will be trying a new taper this year. They'll have tried it last year to see if it worked, and then they'll be tweaking it to get it right this year. So whether it's 3 weeks, 5 weeks, I know some people will take longer, some people will take longer. The max I would have done was 2 or 3 weeks. So it just depends on the athlete and what works best for them.
Yeah, so we're at that phase now. We're at the end of February. So we've got about 4 to 5 weeks. It's the first weekend of April, of course, so put that in your diary, folks. It's going to be a great event up at the National Sports Campus in Abbottstown, just in Dublin 15. Very easy to get to. Just come off the M50 at Blanchardstown and you'll be there within 2 to 3 minutes. An absolute fabulous facility, but I have to say, speaking of facilities, this facility has blown me away. It's only 7 years old, and something I would be very envious of the fact that I didn't have it when I was training all those years ago.
It's a great facility up here. We're very lucky to have Bangor, Dublin and Limerick for 20 metre pools. So and we actually have 2 in Dublin. We have one in the NAC and one in UCD. So we're actually blessed to have so many. I know everybody will want more, but for such a small country, we're quite lucky.
So we have some medal presentations here. Here's Katie Shanahan. She's the 16-year-old from the city of Glasgow. She is going to be some swimmer coming forward, going into the future. She may not make the Olympic Games. There's Hannah Miley, probably the unluckiest swimmer. University of Aberdeen in terms of Olympic Games. So 6th, 8 years ago. 6th. I'm trying to do the maths here, but basically 6th, 5th and 4th over the last 3 Olympic Games. So we genuinely wish her the very best in Tokyo, and hopefully she can convert that 4th into a medal position. And there's Amy Wilmot, Commonwealth Games champion for 2018, of course, having taken over that mantle from Hannah Miley, who won the iterations of both 2010 and 2014. 400 individual medley, Grania. It's an animal of an event.
This is a tough event. It's one that you can either get right or get wrong, and you have to go out nice and strong, as I said before, and really pace it well that you can finish it strong. So you want to save some energy for the last 100, but you also don't want to have too much energy. So it's a fine balance.
It is. It's something I could never master. I tell you, I got halfway up the butterfly leg and felt like giving up. So pure 50-meter sprinter as I was. So we're now admiring the facility here. 10 lane 50-meter pool, deck level, which all pools are nowadays, but wasn't always the case. So I remember swimming in my first time I won an Irish National Championships in the summer of 1994, which was a 25-meter pool. So folks, you look at from halfway where the double red indicators are, 25 meters up and go across maybe 4 lanes. That was the size of the pool that we held the national championship in, so it's certainly moved on.
Yeah, we have, definitely.
I'll tell you, when we used to come off the walls there, and because it was only a 5-lane pool, and of course there was no wash flowing away, so it was bouncing back, so it was like swimming in the sea at times. Anyhow, we're going to move on now. Enough of the history, and moving on to the 100-meter freestyle. So this is the B final of the 100-meter freestyle. So the swimmers who finished in 9th to 16th place in yesterday's heats, which of course happened at night. Our lineup: Angus Nicholl, he's in lane 0 from the City of Glasgow swim team. Lane number 1, Finn McGeever, NCL Limerick. David Thompson from Bangor, he goes in lane 2. Lane 3 sees Kyle Boyer, University of Stirling. 24-year-old Callum Bain is the fastest qualifier here. He's from Britain, he's lane 4. Jay Strack from NCL Kingdom, lane 5. Michael Hewitt, ours, in lane number 6. Lane 7 sees Alan Corbin, NCL Limerick. 18-year-old Smith Shetty Yak, he's from Pioneer, he's in lane 8. And then Rory McAvoy, we've seen him already today in the 50-meter backstroke. He's from NCD Ennis, and he goes in lane number 9. So 51.43 is the fastest qualifier. Narrowly missed out on the final by 1/10 of a second. So we're looking for Callum Bain here. Only 3 swimmers indeed were under the 52-second mark. That's Kyle Boyle in lane number 3, Callum Bain and Jace Pratt. Good start out of lane number 4. Callum back, he's from Cookstown. Long stroke, and he's going out really, really hard here. He's got a 1 body length lead, so he's going to go out, try and put the guys under pressure. And it's Callum back here. Callum Bain, rather, 24 from Cookstown. Going to see what he turns in. We're looking at about a 23-second split. That's 23.78.
Great swim here from Callum Bain. He's really taking it out nice and strong, and he's holding on here for the last, moving into the 75-meter mark.
So it's Callum Bain here. He's tying up a little bit in lane number 4. Jack Grace just to the top of in lane 5 is trying to come back at him, also in lane 6. Michael Hewitt from Art. It's getting close here, but it's actually going to be Callum Bain between Bain and Grace. And it is Callum Bain, 50.96. He held on just about at the end, so a good 23.9 split. Finishing back with a 50.96. Jay Strack gave it a good old tilt at the very end, only finishing a 1/4 of a second behind him. And taking the 3rd position is Kyle Boyack, and we can see the result on the screen there.
Great swim there from Callum Bain and Jack Grace. Callum had to hang on there in the last 25 metres. He did look nice and strong first 50, even to the 75-metre mark, but that last 25 definitely had to hurt for him.
And did he go out too fast, Grania, or would you have advised him maybe go out a 1/4 of a second slower and then have more on the way back, which does make a big difference, albeit it sounds like a small amount of time.
Absolutely, but you have to look at it too. He's probably trying this to see where he is in racing at the moment. There's no point in holding back and having more in the second 50 when he is probably in heavy training. So It was good for him to get out fast, see what he could do, and then hold on to see where can he sharpen up for Irish Open.
And of course there is the possibility that we will have a relay team at the Olympic Games. We're now lying 12th out of 16. It's the top 16 at the end of the qualifying period that will go through. So he's probably putting his hand up and saying, well, you know, maybe I can squeeze in there.
Well, 50.9 there, that's definitely putting his hand up to say he is. So he needs to get out there. We just see Jordan Sloan walking out there too. He's another one going to be trying to get on that relay. There is a lot of these boys trying to get on that relay to get to Tokyo.
Of course, so that obviously helps in terms of the level of competition. So the 100 metre freestyle, the blue ribbon event at most events, and no different here this weekend. Maybe slightly overshadowed in a couple of minutes by the Olympic champion in the 100 metre breaststroke, but let's deal with things in the present. Harry Constantine, he's in Loughborough, 20-year-old, lane 0. Mark Zernick, University Stirling, he takes lane 1. Lane 2, Edward Mildred, Northampton Swimming Club, the youngest in this event. He's 17 years of age. Jarvis Parkinson, Chelsea Westminster. The first of our sub-50 swimmers, Duncan Scott, two-time Olympic silver medalist, 49.11 in the heats. We're expecting him to go a little bit faster and drag along the man in lane number 5, Shane Ryan, our international medalist. Jack Macmillan, another member of that relay team, the 20-year-old from Bangor, 50.64. Can he get underneath that 50-second mark? Perth Swimming Club, Stephen Milne, he's in lane 7. Jordan Sloan, another member of that international relay team. He's the 27-year-old from Bangor. He's up in lane 8. He's going to have to improve on his 51.21 from last night. And completing the lineup is Curtis Coulter. He's 26-year-old from Bangor. He's in lane number 9. Two favourites wearing the red togs. That's both Duncan Scott and Shane Ryan, both lanes 4 and 5. So again, we're looking to the middle of the pool, lanes 4 and lane 5. Also there in lane number 3, that's Jarvis Parkinson. He's actually challenging Scott. Scott has a very, very unusual stroke in terms of he's very, very short on the front end, but it's working for him. Shane Ryan slightly behind, and we see the turn here, and it's 23.44. Shane Ryan turned to 23.97. They're going to have to go to the legs here.
Absolutely. Duncan Scott is just a phenomenal stroke. Really, really strong. He is kind of slipping the stroke there. Maybe he's just picking up his stroke rate. But Shane Ryan has a bit of work to do to catch him.
And it's Scott. Scott seems to be head and shoulders around the rest of the other swimmers here. Shane Ryan beginning to struggle there, but he should hang on for second place. And there we have it. 48.86 from Duncan Scott. That's a significant improvement on the 49.11 that we saw last night. Taking second, Shane Ryan, our international medalist. He just hung on by 5/100ths of a second. And Jack Macmillan from Bangor, 49.97. 20-year-old. He was in lane 3. He'll be pleased with that swim.
Absolutely, great swim there from Jack, 49.9, just under the 50-second mark. Last night he went 50.6, so it's a big jump from a night swim to a morning swim.
So we've got 2 Irish swimmers under 50 seconds today. We've also got 2 Irish swimmers under 51 seconds. So they seem like the 4 that would be holding their hands up for this freestyle relay. So we'll move on now to the women's version. That's women's 14 and over. This is our 7 events this evening. We will start with the B final. Lane 0, Saskia Wade, YDS Scotland. Lane number 1, Molly McCullagh. She's from Leander, 15-year-old, trained by the great Bobby Bedine. Chloe Pritchard, Swim Wales. Lane number 2. Bethany Firth, she's from Arch, 24-year-old, she's lane 3. The fastest qualifier, Naomi Trait from Kilkenny, continuing their good performance here this weekend. She's in lane 4. Danielle Farrell from Sligo in 5. 60's Rebecca Reid from Ards. Ellie Donegan, she's in lane 7 from Leander. Alex McRae from Belfast in 8. And Ciara Williams from the NEC, she's in lane number 9. Again, 2 lengths of the pool here, and the lanes to look for are Naomi Trate and Danielle Farrell, lanes 4 and 5. Great start there up in lane number 6 from Rebecca Reid and Orange. She seemed to get out ahead of the rest of the field. She's maintaining that lead somewhat, but up there in lane number 3, it's Bethany Firth, the 24-year-old from yards, but really there is very, very little between these 4 swimmers. So coming into the turn now, they're all in the line, which bodes well for a good finish.
Great swim there from the Kilkenny swimmer Naomi Trate, 27.9. Really, really strong, but everybody is quite close here at the moment.
Yeah, so in the lead we still have Naomi Trate, but she's not having it her own way. Bethany Firth here is beginning to pull ahead in lane number 3, and it seems to be coming down between these 2 swimmers. That's Bethany Firth, the 24-year-old from Ards, up there in lane 3. Lane 4 is Naomi Trate. She's the 17-year-old from Kilkenny, and coming in very close now, Bethany Firth and Naomi Trate, and it is Bethany Firth, 58.25, huge improvement on her performance from yesterday. Coming up in 2nd place is Naomi Trate, who led this race for a long time, 58.48, and then Chloe Pritchard. She is a Chloe Pritchard, yeah, she comes in at 59.47 and 27. This is 16-year-old. So the results, we'll see them now very, very shortly. But a good race there, Vanya.
Yeah, really good. I think we could really see Bethany Firth coming back in the last 25 and really kind of spotted her finish and got her hand on that wall first. It was neck and neck, but Bethany Firth definitely had the better finish.
And the finish, of course, is the all-important bit. You know, you got 5 metres to go. We've seen it. We've seen Jason Lezak do it when he got that finish in the Olympic Games that you were at in 2008. And of course, then Michael Phelps, how he spotted this 2012. In fact, sorry, I got a look there. So of course, 2012 Olympics. And then of course Michael Phelps, when he won the 100-metre butterfly, he spotted and finished. So that finish is all important, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think everybody, it's not just for 50s, 100s, 200s, it's for all strokes that you have to, or all distances, you have to spot your finish and make sure that you're really landing your hand on that wall.
So moving on to the final now, these ladies, the top 8 qualifiers, 1.3 seconds separates 1st to 10th. Niamh Kilgallen, she goes in lane 0 from Clare Morris. Drew McKenzie in lane 1 from the city of Glasgow. Lane 2 sees Betsy Wizard from Northampton Swimming Club. 20-year-old Rachel Bethel, she goes in lane 3 from Bangor. Fastest qualifier, Maria Godden from Kilkenny, 57.60. We'll see if she can go faster than this and take home the gold medal. She's in lane 4. She won't have it all her own way though. Our world champion, Mona McSharry from the Marlins, she goes in lane 5. Ciara Morris, Swim Wales, lane 6. Her compatriots, Meddy Harris from Swim Gwynedd Performance, she's up in lane 7. Victoria Catterson from Ards, lane 7, and completing the field, Zoe Musial from Chelsea and Westminster Swim Club. So we've got 5 and 5 here, 5 international swimmers and 5 Irish swimmers. Mona McSharry, of course, well renowned for the breaststroke. She's going to have to fight here to try and get up over the top of Maria Godden, the Kilkenny swimmer in lane 4. Those 2 ladies are going to be surrounded by the yellow lane lines. That's how you're going to pick them out. Ciara Morris from Swim Wales, she's at 58.41. She's the 4th fastest qualifier, but don't forget Rachel Bethel. She's a 20-year-old from Bangor, and she's going to try to drop under the 58-second mark. So Mona McSharry using the underwater kick there to her advantage, and has given her a half a body lead already. So it's McSharry already. McSharry laying down a marker. Maria Godden shouldn't panic at this stage, but down there in lane number 0 is the 21-year-old Niamh Kilgallen from Clare Morris, and it looks like she's going to take this out. This is a bit of a surprise. The other ladies won't see her, and she actually turns in 3rd place, but McSharry 27.5, Godden 27.7.
Great start there from Mona McSharry and Marie Godden. We can't deny Niamh Kilgallen in lane 0, really putting it up to the other girls.
And it's Godden who's coming back at McSharry. Godden, McSharry, these are the two to look at. McSharry breathing to her left seater, McSharry's staring her down. Looks like McSharry is going to take this all down to the finish, and it's McSharry who takes this in a time of 57.05. Maria Godden 57.58, and in third place was Ciara Morris, the Welsh swimmer, coming in at 57.97. So Niamh Kilgallen, she went out very, very hard, but faded at the very end, probably too hard, but 57.05 for Mona. She'll be happy, that looks good. She looks like she's getting into peak form at this stage of the year.
Absolutely, it's a great swim from Mona. She really, really controlled it as on the first 50. And when you can get distracted, when you can see like Niamh Kilgallen out in lane 0, who is going out very, very strong, but she didn't. She stuck to her own race plan. She went out and she took it nice and controlled and was able to give it that in that second 50 all she needed.
So a 0.85 of the second improvement, which is a huge amount over 100 metres freestyle from McSharry to take the gold medal here. 18-year-old Maria Godden was in second place. She improved somewhat, albeit by 0.02 of a second on her heat swim from last night. And of course, in third place was Ciara Morris, the swim Wales, the 18-year-old. So, under freestyle generally it's a strong person sport. Obviously technique is very, very key, but in terms of power and so on, that's where you're going to see the most power being applied over the 50 and 100 metre event. So we're now moving on to our medal presentation, but I think we can look forward, Grania, to the 200 metre butterfly. We're going to see Edward Mildred, he's the 17-year-old from Northampton, Max Litchfield, who of course finished 4th in the world on 2 occasions in 2017, both in the 200 and the 400 IM. But our own Brendan Hyland, 26-year-old, is going to be attempting to make that Olympic team in about 5 months' time. What do you think his chances are?
I think we've seen Brendan, we've seen him improve so much over the last 2 years. He's making big chunks of drops. He was so close in the summer to just miss the time. So I think even that in itself is a massive boost for somebody to get so close to it but just miss it. And especially with 6 months to go. So it'll be interesting to see what he goes this morning. He went 2:01 yesterday evening swim. He will be quite confident and happy with that going forward into Irish Open.
Yes, and of course he, as Grania alluded to, he narrowly missed qualifying time. He finished 10th in the world. So it seems a little bit unfair finishing 10th in the world and him not automatically qualifying for the Olympic Games, but should he do that qualifying time, which we all expect that he will do, he's a potential for Olympic finalists, you know.
I think we can't run away with ourselves at the moment. I think we need to look at right, he needs to get his time, then see where we're at, and then go from heats, semi-finals, finals. Because I think if you look at it from, okay, well, he should be getting in a final, it can put a lot of pressure on an athlete. So look at it like break it down into steps, which I'm sure he's done, like little goals along the way. Whereas first of all, we're coming here as a training competition, see where we're at, Irish trials, get the time, and then let's put the plan in motion.
So based on that, so of course that's, you know, as you said, a step by step. So 2:01.59. Now the qualifying time for the Olympic Games is 1:56.48. That was a heat swim yesterday morning. So what are we looking at here in terms of what should he be aiming for?
I think for in competition, under 2 minutes would be good for him. 1:58, 1:59, even 1:57 if he could do it, because then you're getting closer to that 1:56 mark. But as we know, 200 butterfly unrested is a tough event. It's tough as a rested event, but even as an unrested, it's tough. So I think if he could go 1:58, 1:59 this morning, he should be pretty pleased with that.
And of course, he'd be dragged along there by, when I say dragged along, that's a bit unfair to Brendan in his own right, but Edward Mildred, he's a 17-year-old from Northampton. We don't know a lot about him. But the guy that we do know about is Max Litchfield. He's a 25-year-old from Loughborough. He was at the Worlds a number of years ago, got 4th in 2 events there. So good pedigree there, and it's a good person for Brendan to actually match his progress against at this stage, would you agree?
Absolutely, it's great to see, because sometimes I know like Brendan will be at competitions in Ireland and he is a good bit ahead, so for him to come up to Bangor and to have that competition there is a really good strength here.
Yeah, and of course, to bear in mind, as you mentioned earlier on, there are only 9 people in the world who can swim this event faster than based on last year's World Championship, so any such competition would be welcome. So we're just finishing off our medal presentations, and then what we have remaining in this first final session is the men's 200 metres butterfly, so we'll have a B final and A final and that. We'll then move on to the women's 200 metre butterfly, which will feature Charlotte Atkinson, the 24-year-old from Loughborough, who has won international gold medals at European Championships. We're then moving on to the 100 metre breaststroke, which will feature the world swimmer of the year, the Olympic champion, the world champion, the European champion, a man that I could keep talking for about 10 minutes and not get to the end of his achievements. That's Adam Peaty, who would be the odds-on favourite not only to win this event but the Olympic Games. We will then have the women's 100 metre breaststroke, then moving on to the men's 800 metre freestyle and the women's 1500 metres freestyle. Was an event that they had at the Olympic Games when you were around, Grania, but would have been an event I'm sure that you would have liked to have participated in.
Absolutely, I think, yeah, it would have been, like, I quite enjoyed the 1500 and it is a pity it wasn't in the Olympics, but it is what it is. I suppose I can't change that.
And time moves on, of course. So, just getting ready here now for our 200 metre butterfly. So, the swimmers will have swam the heats in the morning or last night. Then the top 16 will be selected to swim in either the A or the B final. So what we will be seeing here this morning is the 9th to the 16th fastest qualifier. Fastest qualifier being Cole Hewitt from Swim Wales, the 18-year-old, 12 100ths of a second ahead of Mark Ford from the city of Glasgow, who was the slowest qualifier for the final. So our lineup: Patrick Manning, Northampton Swim Club. He's in lane 0. Lane 1 sees Tom Robinson from the University of Aberdeen. Tony Joe Trett Oliver, University of Stirling. He's in lane 2. Lane 3 sees Jeremy O'Connor from NCL Limerick. Cole Hewitt, the fastest qualifier, 18-year-old from Swim Wales. He's in lane 4. Fraser Kelly, 17-year-old from YDS Scotland. He's in lane 5. Sean Scannell, he takes lane 6. Lane 7 sees Jackson O'Rourke from Northampton Swimming Club. Lane 8, James Allison from the University of Aberdeen Performance Swimming. And in lane number 9 from Kilkenny, Brogan McEvivney. He's the 17-year-old, and that is our lineup. So 4 lengths to the pool here. Somewhat of a tactical event, this. It's a very, very demanding event, and of course butterfly is a timing event in terms of we kick our legs in and we kick our legs back out, or at least that's what we used to do 20 years ago. That might have changed since then, Brownie. So all swimmers nowadays opting to use the, for want of a better expression, the cycling-esque swimming trunks, which really only came out in the late 90s. So 4 lengths to the pool. Patrick Manning, Northampton in lane 0. Tom Robinson, University of Aberdeen in 1. Oliver Trett, he's in lane 2. Jeremy O'Connor, Limerick, lane 3. Cole Hewitt, Swim Wales, he's in lane 4. Fraser Kelly, YDS Scotland in lane 5. Sean Scannell, NCD Leash Marlins, he's in lane 6. Jackson O'Rourke, he makes up lane 7. James Allison, University of Aberdeen in lane 8. And Brogan McEvivney, he's from Kilkenny up in lane 9. And already taking a significant lead is the 18-year-old Cole Hewitt. He's from Swim Wales, but Fraser Kelly rather, 17-year-old from Scotland, he's just above in lane 5, and then Jeremy O'Connor from NCL Limerick, he was also in the challenge. So coming in It's as you were. Cole Hewitt, 18-year-old, turning here in 59.48, which should bring him back under his 2:08 entry time. He's followed in lane number 3 by O'Connor and lane number 5 by Fraser Kelly.
Great swim here from Cole Hewitt from Swim Wales, breathing everyone, really controlled. Took it out nice and controlled, but is really working this third 50, which is what you need to do in the 200 butterfly. Not to forget Jeremy O'Connor there from National Centre Limerick, and Fraser Kelly from YDS Scotland, closing the gap a little bit on him.
Well, Cole Hewitt's still in the lead, but it's a narrowing, and the gap has been narrowed over that third 50. So last 50 should be okay for Cole Hewitt, but an interesting fight happening there in between Jeremy O'Connor in lane 3 and Fraser Kelly in lane number 5. So Cole Hewitt coming home, less than 25 metres to go. Seems like Fraser Kelly is taking a bit of a push there. The YDS Scotland swimmer looked like he's going to get up for second place with Jeremy O'Connor looking for the bronze. Cole Hewitt pushing now through the 18-year-old from Swim Wales, dying a bit, but he hangs on to claim the first position here, 2:08.66, slightly outside of his qualification time of 2:08.21. Second place, Fraser Kelly. He finished at a time of 2:09.26. And taking up the third position is Jackson O'Rourke, the 18-year-old from Northampton Swim Club, who was up in lane number 7. So our 1, 2, 3 is Hewitt, Fraser and O'Rourke. So moving on to the final of this event, 10 swimmers involved. That's Mark Ford from the City of Glasgow swim team, 17-year-old. Antonio Rodriguez, he'll be starting in lane 0. He's from Swim Wales. Caden McCarthy from Mallow, the first finalist from Mallow here this weekend. He's in lane 8. Paddy Johnson, local boy from Ards, 19 years of age. He'll be in lane 1. Ethan Hansen from Trojan, lane number 7. Finn McGeever, he's from Limerick, he'll be starting in lane number 2. Castlebar swimmer Killian Melly, he'll be in lane 6. He'll be hoping to put a challenge to the man coming next. It's the World Championship semi-finalist Brendan Hyland, 26-year-old from the National Centre from Tala originally. Max Litchfield, hugely experienced international swimmer, and then of course Ed Mildred from Northampton, the 17-year-old. So it's going to be a case of youth versus age here. 17 years of age, Ed Mildred from Northampton. He's the fastest qualifier, and he'll be flanked by both Litchfield, who's 25, and Brendan Hyland, who's up there in lane 3. Interesting, Killian Melly, 23-year-old from Castlebar. What's he going to be thinking in relation to Brendan Hyland here today?
Both athletes have raced against each other numerous times. Irish Open, David McCullagh last year, Irish Short Course. They've been away on training camps together, so they're going to use it to their advantage. They've trained together, and they know their different styles of training, different styles of racing. So Killian Melly will use that to his advantage, and Brendan is going to feed off of Edward Mildred and Max Litchfield as well as Killian. So it'll be a good race for all swimmers actually.
So all swimmers should enjoy, but 4 that we are most interested in are 4 that certainly on the entry time they're about 4 seconds ahead of every every other racer. So it'll be a race of 2 races almost in this. So.
Okay, final here, fastest qualifier, Edward Mildred. He was at 1:59.66.
So Mildred is in the blue cap in the first of the 2 yellow lanes, but challenging him already is Brendan Hyland. So Brendan is putting down a bit of a challenge already. Ed Mildred, he's a 17-year-old in lane number 4. Max Litchfield, of course, up in lane 6, the World Championship finalists. So we have a World Championship finalist, a World Championship semi-finalist, and then we've got the young pretender, the 17-year-old. Taking the lead already, Max Litchfield, 25-year-old from Loughborough. He's got a very, very flat stroke, pushing out past beyond his hips and halfway down his leg. But Highland and of course Mildred aren't letting him have their own way. This is a good controlled swim from Highland, breathing every second, and he's going to turn in about 3rd place. So these 4 swimmers are neck and neck. So it's Mildred leading the way, followed by Litchfield, Highland narrowly behind, and then Killian Melly of Castlebar.
It's a great swim here from all 4 swimmers. Here is where we will see it kind of changing up. We do see Max Litchfield kind of pulling away, or trying to pull away, followed closely by Edward Mildred and Brendan Highland, and Killian Melly is not giving up.
And Melly certainly is not giving up at all. And Melly is actually challenging Brendan Highland, but it's the 2 UK swimmers.
Killian Melly got the touch there just ahead of Brendan Highland.
Yeah, so Edward Mildred and Max Litchfield, they look to have this sewn up. And what's going to happen for the bronze medal here between Brendan Highland and Killian Melly? So Edward Mildred's taking this, and indeed he's been challenged by Litchfield. But Brendan Highland is coming back now, so it's Highland, it's Mildred, it's Litchfield. Highland coming back, looks like Litchfield is going to hang on. Highland coming in to challenge, and Highland will take the bronze medal. Narrowly trying to get the results here. So that was a great finish. Max Litchfield, 159.53. Edward Mildred, he finished in 2nd place, 159.97. And Brendan Highland 200.04. And unfortunately we don't have playback here, but we saw the finish of Brendan. He didn't spot his finish right. He tried to kick in, and that cost him the silver medal. With a 2-minute performance, Olympic qualifying time is 1:56. He won't be overly worried in respect to where he is in terms of his training. He's probably in a very heavy training load now. Should be relatively pleased with that result.
Absolutely, it's a great swim for Brendan. You could see there he went out nice and controlled. You can see also that he is in very heavy training, that he isn't as fresh as he normally will be, which is also a good sign for a 2-minute swim. But he will be very, very happy that it's a morning swim. Has he went out in the morning in a heat and done 2 minutes? I don't think so. It would normally be a 2:01, 2:02 as far as I remember. So to get up in the morning and do 2 minutes, it's pretty good.
So one of our closest races to date. Moving on to the women's B final of the 200-metre butterfly. Lane 0, so it's a 15-year-old from Ards, Taryn Barr. Leonie Young, she's in lane 1, she's from Billingham lane. So. Lane number 2, Alana Burns-Akin, Lambert. Pippa Mulhall from the Trojan Club in Dublin, she's in lane 3. Lane 4 sees Hannah O'Shea from Dolphin in Cork. Aer Lingus has her first finalist in Quinn. She's in lane 5. Ruth Kelly from New Ross takes lane 6. Alice Mackey from YDS Scotland, the youngest swimmer in this race at 14 years of age. She's in lane 7. Ella Kay sees her swimming in lane 8 from Northampton. And leading the line up is Lizzie Campbell, the 18-year-old from Leander. She's up in the top of your screen in lane 9. So 4 lengths of the pool here. Hannah O'Shea, fastest qualified by over 2 seconds. We're in the second fastest qualified. These 2 ladies were the only 2 that actually broke the 2-minute 30 mark, so they'll be looking to try and improve on that. So already we can see both O'Shea and Quinn taking a bit of a lead. So that's O'Shea turning first, 31.72. Second Quinn from Aer Lingus swimming is at 32.29. And then we follow there closely in lane 3 by Pippa Mulhall. She's the 18-year-old Trojan swimmer. But already you can see a bit of a gap. The gap has been foreshortened, of course, by our camera angle here. But once we get a side-on view, you'll see that it's O'Shea from Dolphin and Kiva Quinn from Aer Lingus who are moving ahead. Pippa Mulhall from Trojan, she's trying to hang on. But turning here, with 100 metres to go. It's Hannah O'Shea from the Dolphin Club in Cork.
Great swim here from Hannah O'Shea. We've seen her already on the 400 IM this morning. Really, really strong 400 IM. And to come back and do a 200 butterfly is not easy. So she's got the lead there, but we do also have Peter Quinn in lane 5 and Pippa Mulhall from Trojan. But I don't think anybody is going to touch Hannah O'Sullivan. Really good stroke, breathing every 2. She does lift her head quite high, but the stroke works for her.
So it's Hannah O'Shea from Dolphin, 16-year-old, 200 metre butterfly, 50 metres to go. Lane number 5, Brewer James, the 18-yerold from Aer Lingus, and up there in lane number 3, going back a little bit now, is Pippa Hall from Trojan. It's O'Shea. O'Shea has a 3 to 4 metre lead, followed closely with Quinn. And then, of course, Pippa Mulhall from Trojan. So it's O'Shea, 16-year-old. This is where it begins to hurt, but she has this race tied up. Just wants to continue with the form that she's shown so far. Get the head down now for the last 5 metres. That's Hannah O'Shea taking the win here in 2:25.26. Quinn from Aer Lingus, she comes in for second place, and in third place is Pippa Mulhall from the Trojan Swimming Club.
Great swim there from Hannah O'Shea, getting the touch from 2:25.26, followed by Quiva Quinn 2:29.60 and Pippa Mulhall 2:30.61.
Okay, so I think we're going to move on to some presentations now. But what we're looking forward to now is the men's 100 metre breaststroke. And what can we say that hasn't been said about Alan Peaty? World Swim of the Year.
A final of the 200 butterfly first.
Oh, we're going to go with the A final 200 butterfly. Of course. My mistake. This is the beauty about live. There will always be mistakes. I have to say the external announcer is very, very loud today, so finding it difficult to hear ourselves, but we'll battle on. Lane 0 from Shark is the 18-year-old Aoife Bates. Gabrielle Melbourne Smith from South Wales, she goes in lane 1. Katie Shanahan from the City of Glasgow swim team, she'll take lane 2. Hannah Miley, we've seen her already. Veteran of Olympic Games, not just Olympic Games but Olympic finals. She's from the University of Aberdeen, she's in lane 3. Ailish Thomas is the fastest qualifier from Swansea University, she takes up lane 4. Charlotte Atkinson, European Championship gold medalist, she's in lane number 5. Ellen Walsh, the first ever female swimmer in Ireland to go underneath the 60 seconds for the 100 metre butterfly. She's from Temple Oak, she'll go in lane 6. Lauren Patterson, 17-year-old from the City of Glasgow, lane 7. Lane 8 sees Jessica Dixon, she's from Swim Wales. And Andrea Cox from Lisbon City, not too far from where we are located today, she goes in lane 9. But looking at the start list, one could be forgiven for thinking that this will be a two-lady race between Ailish Thomas and Charlotte Atkinson. They're 7 seconds ahead of Hannah Miley, who swam at 2:18, so 2:10 versus 2:18, but you can never discount Hannah Miley, can you, Ronnie?
No, absolutely not. And like this, we've seen her in the 400 IM. She's back again for 200 butterfly. Ellen Walsh is the same. It's a tough double doing 400 IM and then back maybe half an hour later for a 200 butterfly. So it'll be interesting to see how both girls will swim. They'll be well warmed up anyway, if that's one thing to stand by.
Warmed up indeed. So 200 metre butterfly. Lane 4, Ailish Thomas, fastest qualifier, Swansea University. Lane number 5, Charlotte Atkinson. She's going to push her all the way. And we can see that two ladies already making a bit of a move. Hannah Miley dropped back slightly already. The University of Aberdeen, the veteran of Olympic finals, having placed 6th, 5th and 4th in the last 3 Olympic Games. So Eilish Thomas turns in the lead here. Swansea University, 30-year-old. Charlotte Atkinson up there in lane 5, and it seems between these two ladies so far. Ellen Walsh putting in a good shift. She's up in lane number 6, and she is actually holding on for 3rd place at the moment. So it's both Thomas and Atkinson. Thomas and Atkinson, the 30-year-old versus the 24-year-old. Atkinson, of course, is a European Championship gold medalist, but she's not having it all her own way. Eilish Thomas, 30-year-old from Swansea University, turns in 1:02.09 and has an absolutely amazing turn there and is taking away from Atkinson.
Great swim from Eilish Thomas. She went out nice and controlled. She's kept it controlled as through the 100. In this third 50, she's really after picking up her stroke rate. Beating everyone, but you can see that she's picked it up a notch to try and pull away from Charlotte Atkinson.
So it's Thomas who was the favourite coming into this event from Swansea University, the 30-year-old. She is now turned in 1:35.94, entry time at 2:10. Charlotte Atkinson just above her. She's in lane 4, and there's a really, really good fight happening now for the bronze medal between Hannah Miley and Ellen Walsh. So it's Miley and Walsh, it's the two swimmers on the outside, as you can see. But coming back to the head of affairs, Eilish Thomas, 15 metres to go, seems to have it all wrapped up. Charlotte Atkinson, the European Championship gold medalist, won't do it this time, and coming in, it's Eilish Thomas taking the lead and taking the gold medal in 2:10.07. Atkinson taking silver, and then Hannah Miley prevailing over Ellen Walsh, and she comes in the bronze medal position.
Great swims there. Eilish Thompson could catch Charlotte Atkinson, Hannah Miley and Ellen Walsh. Ellen Walsh went faster than last night, 2:17. She went 2:21 last night. So big improvements there from all swimmers, from evening swims to morning swims.
So she'll be very, very pleased with that. Nobody likes to come forth, but of course this is just a preparatory meet for these swimmers who are trying to make the Olympic Games time. Eilish Thomas, quite impressive there from Swansea University. Charlotte Atkinson from Loughborough, 24-year-old. She's probably in a high training load at the moment. And of course Hannah Miley, she is the lady who finished in the bronze medal position in this event. So moving on to some medal presentations, but I think the event and the star of the show here this morning rather, is the man who's going to be coming up in a few minutes' time, Adam Peaty from Loughborough University, 26-year-old, and really, Grania, he's done everything.
Yes, he's got every medal that he really wants. European, World, Olympic, goals, all the records. He's just going from strength to strength, really. We haven't seen a dip in his performances over the last 2 years, so it'll be an exciting time for him to be going into Tokyo and knowing that there is people chasing him and there is people chasing him down. We have seen breaststroke over the last 3 years really as a whole get faster, so there is people chasing him down, there is people wanting to beat him, but whether it'll happen this year or not, I'm not sure.
Yes, and his heat time of 58.90 sent a few ripples out. Swam and Swimming World had some articles posted last night in terms of, I suppose, acknowledging how fast Adam Peaty is swimming at this time of the year. Of course, world record is down around the 56-second mark. And Peaty, he looks tan, so it looks like he's after coming off a long training camp, but really he won't be touched here. Can we see him being touched at the Olympic Games?
I don't think so. I can't see him being touched. He's so far ahead of the rest of the world, unless we've been kind of missing something, and there is people thereabouts, but he is that half a second ahead of the rest of the field at the moment.
I think the thing that people have done some analysis on the stroke, and what people are actually spotting on the stroke is we see his recovery. His recovery is that little bit faster than everybody else, which helps him maintain the speed. We don't have a dead spot. There's Shane Ryan now, as we go away from that, just collecting his medal here in the 50 Brit 100 freestyle. And of course Duncan Scott, 2 times Olympic silver medalist, he's collecting the gold medal. But coming back to Petey, just talking to Andrew Bree last night, who of course was Ireland's Olympic semi-finalist back in Beijing in 2008, and what he pointed out was the narrowness of Adam Peaty's kick. Seems to be a lot narrower than all of the other swimmers out there.
Yeah. Which is able to drive him forward. He has a stroke that we've never seen before. It's very, very different, but it's very efficient for him and effective, obviously, from what we've seen. So, very, very good.
So he will be coming up pretty soon. He's going to be challenged, if we can say that, by the silver medalist from the World Championships. That's his teammate James Wilby, who a number of years ago was given the accolade of the male breakout swimmer of the year. And of course, we need not forget Dara Green, our own Dara Green, the only swimmer who's done the qualifying time for the Olympic Games. Doesn't mean that he gets to go to the Olympic Games. He has to do a ratification time, isn't that correct?
So he needs to get it within a percentage of it at the Irish Open, and I've just seen that he posted 60.96 last night, so he's on track to go within that percentage in a couple of weeks' time.
And of course the qualifying time for the Olympic Games in this event is 59.93. Dara, of course, was unfortunate not to make the final at the European Short Course last year, or in 2019 rather, where he had a swim off against a Russian swimmer by the name of Prigada. His father, Gennady Prigada, was a great swimmer back in the 80s, and Dara was narrowly touched out there on that occasion. But 59.93 is the qualifying time. If he does it today, it doesn't matter, isn't that right? It has to be done on the day in April.
Yeah. So he needs to, yes, if he does it today, it's a bonus, because I'm sure he's not rested, but he has to do it again in a couple of weeks' time.
So the days of doing your Olympic qualifying time whenever you wanted, or whenever the opportunity arose, are long gone in Irish swimming. And I think it's testament to the high performance program that has been brought in by John Rudd and his team. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But moving on now to the B final of the 100 metre breaststroke. Lane 0's Morgan Berryman. He's from Bangor. Rory Dixon takes lane number 1. He's YDS Scotland. Rudry Williams from Swim Wet Lanes. We'll see him in lane number 2. City of Glasgow have Max Hagan. He'll take lane number 3. Lane 4, the fastest qualifier, 23-year-old Liam Doyle from the Dolphin swim team. Limerick have Oisin Cook. He's in lane 5. Andrew Feenan from Sunday Well. He's lane 6. Lane 7 sees Joel O'Halloran from Derbyshire ASC. And Nuran Davies, the 16-year-old and the youngest member of this race from Swim Wales, he'll be in lane 8. And in lane 9 is Youssef Batout, the 20-year-old from the City of Glasgow swim team. Liam Doyle, fastest qualifier, 1:04.28, but he's not going to have it all his own way. We'll look out for Oisin Cook in lane 5, and Max Hagan, of course, who'll be just below him in lane number 3. So 2 lengths of the pool here, 100 metre breaststroke, a power swimmer, a power swim. The swimmers are trying to drive those arms forward while still holding onto the water. Already showing a bit of a lead is Liam Doyle. He's got 37 metres into the race. He's up there in lane 4. lane 5, Oisin Cook, and then there in lane number 3 is Max Hagan. So moving up to the 50 metres, and 50 metres to go, it's Oisin Cook who is taking the lead, followed by Liam Doyle.
Both swimmers training together out of the National Centre limit. Liam Doyle and Oisin Cook 29.7, 29.6 or 29.76, but great swims here from both these. They train together day in, day out, and now they're racing each other.
And it's Doyle who's coming through and pushing through, the 23-year-old from the Dolphin Club in Cork. He's in lane 4, but coming back really quickly is Oisin Cook. So it's Oisin Cook, it's Doyle, and it's Hagan coming in. A blanket fish in here between these three individuals. Who's going to grab it? Looks like it is Max Hagan, the swimmer in lane number 3 from the City of Glasgow swim team. Just narrowly getting in by 9/100ths of a second. Oisin Cook, the leader for so long. He finishes in second place with Liam Doyle 6/100ths of a second behind him. He was in third place. So the winning time is 1:04.70. That's 2/100ths of a second faster than what he did last evening. Oisin Cook will be somewhat disappointed with that. It's a slower swim than he did yesterday, and had he swam what he did yesterday, he would have been victorious. Now, the event we've been looking for. The number 1 and number 2 in the world, Adam Beattie, James Wilby, 26 and 27-year-olds from Loughborough, who are the class in this field. Our own Derek Green is also going to be going in this event. We'll see if he can get to that, close to that 60-second mark. And of course, Ross Murdoch from the University of Stirling. So we've only got 2 Irish swimmers in this race. That's Owen Corby, the 18-year-old from Limerick. We'll see him in lane 1. And of course the aforementioned Derek Green. He'll be in lane 6. But our lineup. That's Archie Goodburn. He's a 19-year-old from Loughborough. He will begin in lane number 9. Edward Baxter from Loughborough. He's out in lane number 0. We're of course using all 10 lanes for this final. Another Loughborough swimmer here is Gregory Butler. He'll start in lane number 8. In fact, we've got 6 swimmers from Loughborough. Owen Corby. You can hear the crowd, the 18-year-old, the young pretender to Dara Green's crown. He's in lane number 1. Another Loughborough swimmer in lane 7, David Murphy. I think he will probably have some Irish links. Now, more north in the UK, mainland UK, is Craig Benson from the University of Stirling. The local favourite, Dara Green, Irish record holder, the man who's trying to qualify for the Olympic Games in 4 weeks' time. Ross Murdoch, good crowd favourite here from the University of Stirling. The number 2 in the world, James Wilby, second in the World Championships, former male breakout swimmer of the year, and coming up, the Olympic champion, the world champion, the European champion, the world record holder, the Olympic record holder, the only man ever to swim under 57 seconds for 100 metres breaststroke. A real privilege for Irish swimming to have him visit us here this weekend. That's in lane number 4, Adam Peaty. See your line up there, 2 lengths to the pool. Peaty should win this by a comfortable margin. He was 1.4 seconds ahead of his closest challenger, that was James Wilby, the man who will be just above him. Only swimmer to make it under 60 seconds was Peaty. Hopefully we can drag a few more with us. And Peaty already making a move. He's not having it all his own way. He's been getting a bit of a challenge there from Ross Murdoch, the University of Stirling swimmer, but it's Petey now taking the lead. You can see that really, really fast recovery. It's faster than anybody else. Derek Green putting in a good stint there in lane number 6, and he'll share in about second place.
Great turn there from Adam Peaty, 27.4, followed by Ross Murdoch, 28.05, so half a second ahead of the rest of the field at the 50-metre mark.
That is Petey, the class of the field, the Olympic champion, the world record holder. He's being chased now by James Wilby, the World Championship silver medalist, and Ross Murdoch. And Derek Green, of course, is pushing through. He may get in for third place, but it's Petey all the way, the world record holder, the Olympic champion, Adam Petey, coming in, takes the win in a time of 58.78. James Wilby, his teammate, he comes in second place, and in third place, Ross Murdoch in 1 minute .54. Derek Green finished in fourth place in a time of 61.12. He'll be somewhat disappointed by that. It's slightly slower than his entry time of 1:00.96, but 58.78. That's the fastest 100 metres breaststroke that has ever been done on the island of Ireland. Pretty impressive.
Really great swim, and you could hear the crowd there getting behind, I think, everybody in that race. But great swim there from Adam Peaty, Ross Murdoch and James Wilby. Darragh Green, I think, will be disappointed with that. 1 minute .9 last night, 61 this morning. So he would have been trying to go faster in the finals this morning to see where he stands. But overall, he is in heavy training, so it'll be an interesting 5 weeks now to see what he can do at trials.
Yeah, and based on his time yesterday, he has to drop a second, which is not a lot when you get into a taper phase. Of course, he's 50, 100, well, he's a 100, 200 guy now, and he'll have that speed, and it's really the speed that comes over the last couple of weeks, so he won't be too worried about that performance. But again, phenomenal performance by the Olympic world champion, world record holder, Olympic record holder, Adam Peaty. Next event in the water, event number 11. It's the women's 14 and over 100 metres breaststroke. We're going to see the Olympic silver medalist Siobhan Marie O'Connor in the final, but to precede that we will have the B final. And the lineup for that is Betty Firth, she's from Ireland, she's in lane 0. Sarah McCracken, lane 1, Lisburn City. Lane 2 sees Jace Murphy from Sligo. Aer Lingus had Lisa Cook, she's in lane 3. Lane 4 sees Ellie McCartney, Ellis Skillen Lakelanders. Banbridge have their swimmer Julia Cox, she's in lane 5. Jenna Dougal from Derbyshire, lane 6. Ava McNamara, Lisburn City in lane 7. Taylor O'Rourke, Northampton Swimming Club in lane 8. And Arwen Stevens, 15-year-old from Swim Wales, she's in lane 9. Fastest qualifiers, Ali McCartney, 1:16.40, but 7/100ths of a second behind her was Julia Knox, the Banbridge swimmer. So 15-year-old and a 17-year-old going at it. All swimmers pretty much in a line here. Maybe taking a slight lead is Jenna Dougal, the Lisburn City, the Derbyshire City swimmer up there in lane number 5, 1:17, but coming through now in the yellow hat, Ellie McCartney. McCartney from Enniskillen, 15 years of age, turning here now. She'll take the lead, and she does so in a time of 35.24.
Great swim there from Ellie McCartney, 25.2. Really nicely controlled, really long stroke with a really long glide there. So it's different how everybody's stroke is different, and they'll pick it up, but really good stroke there, although the rest of the field are closing in on her here now.
So it's McCartney, she's taking the lead, and she's still in the lead in lane number 4, but coming back at her is lane number 5. Julia Knox from Banbridge, and then Jen Dougal from Derbyshire is there. Knox, McCartney and Dougal. McCartney seems to be holding on, but Knox is coming back at her. Knox and Dougal for the finish, and it looks like it's going to be McCartney. McCartney takes the finish in the time of 1:15.04. That's over a second and a half, almost a second and a half faster than her heat time and her qualification time. She's 15 years of age from the Enniskillen Lakelanders. She'll be very, very pleased with that. Julia Knox was in second place, and Jenna Dougal from Derbyshire. All three ladies under the 1:16 mark. Now, the final of this event, the A final, top 10 swimmers. Again, dominated by foreign interests. We've got 4 swimmers from Loughborough, 2 swimmers from YDS Scotland, but in lane number 3, our own Mona McSharry, World Junior Champion in this event, recent Senior European Championships bronze medalist in the 50-metre event, so she's going to have a lot of speed that she can use. There's Alvin Cook, she's in lane 0, 17-year-old from Limerick. Amy Watson is next up, she's in lane 8, she's from YDS in Scotland. Zoe Thompson, local swimmer from Ards, she's in lane 1, and hopefully she'll have gleaned some advice from Andrew Bray, who is doing a bit of coaching there from time to time. That's Abby Wood, she's in lane 7, 21-year-old from Loughborough. Niamh Coyne, member of the national squad, she's from Tala, but she's in lane number 2. Sarah Vassie, 24-year-old from Loughborough, one of 4 Loughborough swimmers in this final. The former world junior champion, 20-year-old from Sligo, Mona McSharry in her shot there. Molly Renshaw, veteran of UK swimming, and coming up, the Olympic Games silver medalist, the Commonwealth Games champion, Siobhan Marie O'Connor, 25-year-old from Loughborough. Loughborough, of course, the location of Adam Peaty, where he trains. So obviously a very, very strong breaststroke contingent. Again, a preparatory meet for these, but this will be very good for Mona to benchmark where she is versus the Olympic qualifying time, which stands at 1 minute 7.07. O'Connor in 4, Renshaw in 5, McSharry in 3. So McSharry got off the blocks very, very quickly there. She's in the blue hat there, just south of that white and yellow lane line. It's McSharry taking it to these ladies. O'Connor just above her in lane number 4. Lanes number 5 and lane 6 also giving you a good pass. That's Molly Renshaw from Loughborough and Sarah Vassie up in lane number 6. So it's O'Connor and McSharry. Commonwealth champion, world junior champion, but up there in lane 6, the lead is Sarah Vassie.
Sarah Vassie turned in first, followed by Mona McSharry and Siobhan Marie O'Connor pretty close by. Very close overall. Siobhan Marie O'Connor, 200 IM medalist in the Olympics. She's going to use this as her advantage. She needs a strong breaststroke for her 200 IM. Mona McSharry going great. All swimmers are going great.
And it's McSharry now pushing through. McSharry coming through. And O'Connor trying to chase her, but up there in lane 6 is Vassie, so it's going to be between these 3 ladies. It's O'Connor, it's McSharry. McSharry, O'Connor and Vassie. Blanket finish here. McSharry is tying up, looks like it's going to be Vassie. And it is Vassie. 108.15, and we actually have a tie. It's Sarah Marie O'Connor, 108.15. Sarah Vassie, 108.15, and 5/100ths of a second behind her, 108.20. That's Mona McSharry, and Molly Renshaw, 4th place in 108.25. So 1/10 of a second separating these 4 ladies. But 108.15 from Mona McSharry. That's an improvement of 1/3 of a second off her entry time of 108.48. Siobhan Marie O'Connor will be somewhat disappointed there. She was a 107.4 in last night's heat event, so she disimproved, so to speak. But McSharry coming in 3rd place, dead a heat there between Siobhan Marie O'Connor and Sarah Vassie. and Molly Renshaw just being edged out. So our closest race so far, Grania.
It was a great swim there. I think it was hard to call there at the end, and obviously it was a draw. It was a great swim from all swimmers, right across the board there. You can't just say it was for their top 3 swimmers. It was right across the board, great swims from all swimmers.
I just see over our left shoulder we've Alan Peaty. He's getting, seems like it's a bit of a grilling from his coach Melanie Marshall. Standing at 6'3", so the world champion hasn't shaved. Certainly sporting a little bit of a beard, which is something a lot of male swimmers do.
Yeah, especially so close out to trials. Like, he's not going to shave down until trials, and then again on Olympics. Even if he does fully shave for trials, it'll be very interesting to see. But most swimmers won't shave for a couple of weeks coming into it, and then shave down, and then wait again until the major competition in the summer.
So we're moving on to some medal presentations. 2 more events left on our program this morning. That's the men's 15 and over 800 freestyle, and the women's 14 and over 1500 meter freestyle. Grania, of course, you were a distance swimmer in your time, won many international medals in these events. What are people thinking about during these 800 and 1500 freestyles?
Normally when they're going well, you're not really thinking, which is a good thing, and you're just getting in, you're focused on your race. You're in, if it's a 800, it's probably broken down to 4 200s. Everybody will have it broken down differently, and you're trying to build into it that way. And if it's a 1500, I used to break it down as 3 500, so you're building in that way. So it's very, very different and very individual. I know some people might do 8 100, but it's what works for you. You're focused on your own race. It can be very easy to get invested in somebody else's race who's 3 lanes over or right beside you, if they go out faster than you or if they're a bit slower than you, and hold them back. So you have to just stick to your own race plan, go at your own pace, which you would have practiced race racing training. So just stick to what you know and focus on your own race. You can't get caught up in anyone else's race.
Yeah, so we're just going through a couple of presentations here. So we're almost at the end of the session. Highlights from this morning's session, Grania.
I think we have Adam Peaty is definitely one. We saw a great swim there from him. I suppose to start off, we had the 400 IM, which Amy Wilmot won. A great swim from her, really strong. Then we had Joe Litchfield, was it, who came first
yep.
in the 50 back. So overall, we've had a lot of really strong swims. I don't think I could point out one. Obviously, we had Adam Peaty over, which was the fastest time ever in Ireland for 100 breaststroke. But there is some of our home swimmers here swimming quite well, like we saw Brendan Highland. We've seen Dara Green. Yes, we will be disappointed. We saw Shane Ryan's 100 freestyle, a really great race for Shane as well. So, and we also had Ellen Walsh do a 400 IM and 200 butterfly, which I think speaks a lot for itself there.
Yeah, that's a tough combination of events, obviously. Well, they would be probably regarded as the 2 most demanding events.
Absolutely, and I think it's easier to go from a 400 IM to a 200 butterfly. If it was a 200 butterfly to a 400 IM, it's definitely more difficult, so I think it worked in their favour.
Yeah, 200 metres less of pain to look forward to, so that's interesting. Of course, from an Irish perspective, we've seen some good swimming from Irish swimmers. Mona McSharry, she's continuing on from that success that she had at Christmas time. She had a bad bout of illness that ruled her out from, for a significant period about a year and a half ago. Good to see that she's coming back to her form. She'll be looking to improve by over a second, as I mentioned previously, in about 4 to 5 weeks' time. Brendan Highland looking very strong there. Took it out, a couple of big international names beside him. Of course, he placed 10th in the world last year. We're going to try, as you rightly say, focus on Brendan getting that qualifying time, and then we can look forward to, certainly, unless he falls flat in his face, an Olympic semi-finalist and potentially an Olympic final. Shane Ryan, our semi-finalist from the Rio Olympic Games. He qualified in 14th place for those games. He's won a handful of medals since then, including the World University Games. couple of medals at European Championships and so on. And of course he will be trying to qualify both in the 100 freestyle and of course his main event, the 100 meter backstroke, when we see them in 4 weeks time. 100 freestyle time incidentally is 48.57. He went under 50 seconds yesterday. And the 100 meter backstroke, which we'll see later on in the schedule of events, is 53.85. So we'll see him. But we're now moving on to the 800 freestyle. So this is a straight final. So what they do is they will look at the entry times and they will swim the previous 3 heats, the slower of the 3 heats during the heat sessions, and then they'll keep the top 10 swimmers for the time final. That doesn't mean that somebody who swam in the previous heats is excluded. Of course, as their time is faster than what's recorded here, they of course get the victory. But the lineup: in lane 0, Caden Edwards, he's from Swim Wales. Billy Pettit, Northampton Swimming Club, lane 1. Lane 2 sees Liam McLaughlin, YDS Scotland. Lane 3, Jack Munsey, Perth City Swim Club. Daniel Jervis from Swansea University, he's in lane number 4. Northampton Swimming Club, big contingent here with 4 of these 10 swimmers. The second of those is Archie Plowman, he's in lane 5. Jackson O'Rourke again from Northampton, lane 6. Daniel Maratta, 19-year-old from Swim Wales, he'll be in lane 7. And Dennis Kilbride, New Ross, lane 8. And completing the lineup, the youngest person in this event is 16-year-old Northampton Swimming Club, Thomas Curry. So 800 meter freestyle, which is 16 lengths of this pool. You can see when the camera spans around to the right hand side, we'll see that there are lap counters which help the swimmers in case they lose note of how far they've swam. So the swimmers will just stick their head slightly out of the water if they need to have a look. Well, here we go, 16 lengths in the pool. Caden Edwards up in lane 0. Billy Patton, lane number 1. He's from Northampton Swimming Club. Liam McLaughlin, YDS Scotland, he goes in lane 2. Lane 3 is Jack Munsey. Lane 4 is the fastest entry time, that's 7 minutes 50 seconds. Daniel Jervis from Swansea University. Archie Plowman in lane 5. Jackson O'Rourke, teammate of Plowman, he's in lane 6, he's from Northampton. Daniel Maratta, 19-year-old from Swim Wales, in lane 7. Dennis Kilbride, New Ross, also 19, he's in lane 8. And Thomas Curry in lane 9. But already taking the lead here is Daniel Jervis, Swansea University swimmer. And usually for this event, he's 5, 6, 7 meters ahead of everybody else. It's a 56.08 split. Obviously from a 750, we're looking at sub 1 minute all the way. Close enough now for second place. In second place we had Archie Plowman, 19th-year-old from Northampton, breathing to his left hand side up there at the top yellow lane line. And you can see that his teammate Jackson O'Rourke, 18-year-olds, are eyeing each other down as they're going ahead. So that lead of Daniel Jervis has extended. It's almost doubled. He's out to about 9 meters now. An interesting stroke. You see the very, very high elbow on the right hand side and the left hand side. Breathing to his right all the time, and his legs are going unusually fast for this section of the 800 freestyle. Coming up to the first quarter completed. He turned in 56.08. We'll see how he goes here. So 155.51, so he's over in a 59 second 100 meters, and already he's got his lead up to a 12 meter lead.
Really controlled stroke there from Daniel Jervis. breathing to one side, always breathing to the right, but really, really controlled. Great leg kick here for an 800 metres, 6-beat kick, but overall really nice, long and controlled stroke. And then the rest of the field are pretty much all together at the moment.
Yeah, so we're still seeing Archie Plowman and Jason O'Rourke there up in lanes 5 and lane number 6, but already we see that Jervis is meeting everybody on the way back. That must be very demoralising for the rest of them. And you can see it's almost becoming very impossible, if not difficult, if not impossible, to keep anybody bar the leader, Jervis, in shot. You see the distance he's already put in at 300 metres. So he's at 2:55 there. His entry time is 7:50. Seems like he's on track for that. We'll watch to see if he drops off any further. But a good contest happening for second place. You can see just at the top of your screens. That's between Archie Plowman, Northampton Swimming Club, Jackson O'Rourke, again from Northampton, and they've been joined by Daniel Murata. He's in lane 7, and Murata is actually going past the two of these swimmers. He's breathing to his right hand side. So it's Murata in second place, O'Rourke in third, and Plowman in fourth, but Daniel Jervis over 25 metres ahead. So to be ahead by 25 metres at this stage of the event is an interesting and somewhat uncommon scene that we would see. So we're coming in now 400 metres halfway through, and there's almost a 30 metre lead. Ronnie, this is very unusual when it comes to 800 metre swimmer, is it not?
It is and it isn't, but like Daniel Jervis, he's been around. He knows he's very experienced in distance swimming, and he's been to Worlds, Olympics, and he's always in the mix thereabouts. So from that perspective, I'm not really surprised. I think he will just keep going, and he's going to keep extending the lead here, and I think it will go a little bit more than 50 metres. He'll be ahead. So. From the times on paper, like he is entered in 7:50, the next person is 8:20, so there are 30 seconds in the difference. So I would be expecting this. He is gearing himself up to get back to his trials, which are in April, to qualify for Olympics. So overall, I'm not 100% sure what their qualifying time is. Is it the same as ours or not? I'm sure it might be a little bit faster than ours. But this is a great swim for him. It's definitely setting him up well for not just his trials, but the rest of the year.
And of course, the Olympic qualifying time for 2 entries. There are 2 Olympic qualifying times, but most countries adopt a 2 entry time, regardless of whether they're swimming 1 or 2 swimmers. So that's a 7:54. He's an entry time of 7:50. Of course, this doesn't count. He's going to have to do it at the Olympic trials. He's got about a 35 metre lead, and has certainly got this race shown up. But an interesting battle happening for the silver and the bronze medal. You can just see them passing Jervis, that's Jackson O'Rourke, the 18-year-old from Northampton, and Daniel Murata from Sim Wales. They're swimming stroke for stroke. Coming in now, they're almost 50 metres behind Jervis. And they're fighting it out for that silver and bronze medal. But at the top of the affair, Daniel Jervis. You note the very, very high elbows, very controlled stroke rate, stretching out. Legs have been going all the way, which is keeping over from the top of the water, giving them some slight propulsion. But the main function of the legs over an 800 metre swim is to try and get you to the top of the water. And obviously, the more of your body that is out of the water, the easier it is to swim through it. So 150 metres to go. And Jervis, the class of this field, Ronnie.
He is, and that's really shown it there. He hasn't slowed down. He's keeping his pace. He's keeping his stroke rate. Great 6-beat kick. Constantly breathing every 2. Always breathing to the right. He's just in a really good rhythm, which he has practiced day in and day out with his home coach. He's swimming it out of Swansea University. So here Caroline used to swim, and she's here today as well watching. So he is a very experienced athlete, and he is going to go from strength to strength throughout this year. I think he is definitely one to watch in Tokyo.
Yeah, certainly, and that's a 6:53 split. Like I said, the Olympic qualifying time, the 2 time is 7:54, so we should expect him to dip underneath that. His entry time is 7:50. He may not reach, depending on how strong he is over this last 50. But Daniel Jervis, 30-year-old from Swansea University, is turning here in a 7:22. So close enough as to whether he get under the 7:50, but he should be very, very pleased. You can see the stroke. It hasn't faltered one bit from the start. In fact, he's actually increasing his stroke rate. His legs are going through the roof. Plenty left here in the tank. He's going to try and get under that 750. I think he'll just miss it just about. He'll hit the 750, 750.73, which is a phenomenal time at this time of the year. And Daniel Jervis will be very, very pleased with that. Now, going back to the rest of the affairs, we've got Jackson and Murata, so it looks like Jackson has lost out here. That's Jackson O'Rourke. He's going to lose out to Daniel Murata. Daniel Murata, the 19-year-old from Swim Wales. He laid back over the first couple of 100 metres and then started to build and come through. Contrasting style here, somewhat catchy in relation to our winner, Daniel Jervis, but silver medal winner there, Daniel Murata. And Jackson O'Rourke coming in an entry time of 8:30. He actually does a 30.80, so I'd be relatively pleased with that. But the class in the field here, Daniel Jervis, he's from Swansea University. We're going to see a lot more of him throughout the summer and the Olympic period.
Absolutely. And he's just going to keep going, and it's an exciting time for him and distance swimming in Great Britain for men and female, but this is out of this world.
And of course, British swimming has significantly improved over the last decade. There was a time where there were very few Olympic finals and so on, but now it seems to be that not only are they reaching Olympic finals, but they're coming home with a good pocket full of medals. So obviously their high performance structure that was put in the late 90s, early 2000s, their lottery funding and so on, it's taken a number of years for that to come to fruition, but it certainly paid off.
Absolutely. I think it's like the saying, nothing happens overnight, and most certainly results in the field don't happen overnight. It takes time. So for athletes to really buy in, and it takes them to buy into the program to see the results. And you're not going to see it in a week or two. You have to give a program 6 months to a year to see results, and then you'll start seeing bigger results as you stick to it.
And there's the result from the 800 metre freestyle, Daniel Jervis from the University of Swansea, the winner. So going back to that point there about high performance teams, we've had our own high performance team in for less than an Olympic cycle. We're beginning to see some results in terms of we're getting a lot more swimmers at a higher level. We've seen Brendan do well on the international stage, Shane of course, Mona has been doing well, Alan Walsh has performed very well, Gary Green as well. Plus of course our relay on the cusp of making it through to the Olympic Games, which will be the first Irish relay since the ladies freestyle relays back in the 70s to actually compete. How far do you think we can go? We've come a good bit. How far do you think we can go, or should we just be tempering our expectations for this Olympic cycle?
I think the trials will really tell a lot. It's very hard to know where people are. We've seen different athletes popping in and out. I think once we see the trials, we see, first of all, who's on that plane going to Tokyo, because at the moment it's very much nobody is actually automatically going, which is kind of, I suppose, a scary side of it for athletes as well, because I know normally in Olympic year people kind of have not confirmation from the Olympic Federation, but they kind of have their time done and secured, whereas this time is you have to do it in April. So I think from that regard, we don't know who's going. It's very much up in the air. We know who we want to see there, but they need to perform on the day, and then we can go from there. But yeah, it's very hard to see. Like we have seen a lot of change over the last 3-4 years since John Wood and Ben Hickson and all came in, and John Taranic. But we need to look at from Tokyo, where do we go from here, and all our focus at the moment is on Tokyo, which is really, really good. It's only around the corner, but it is going to be a long-term plan.
Of course. So our final event of the evening, or the morning rather, is the women's 14 and over 1500 meter freestyle. 1500 meter freestyle wasn't around in your day in terms of Olympic events. It's the first year, I believe, that it's on the calendar. And Katie Ledecky, of course, the great distance swimmer from the United States, will be one of the main favourites for that event. But our lineup today: Hazel Bentley. She takes lane 0. That's the lane closest to us in the shot. 16-year-old from Asgard Swimming Club. Elise McQueenie, YDS Scotland. She goes in lane 1. Lane 2 sees Grace Hodgson's, Trojan swimmer. NCL have their 16-year-old Jessica Gannon in lane 3. Fastest entry time is Amelia Kane. She goes in lane 4. She's a local lass from Ireland Swim Club. Catherine Bailey, 16-year-old from Perth City Swim Club. She goes in lane 5. Molly McCullagh, I've seen her already tonight. She's a 15-year-old from Leander. She goes in lane 6. Bobby Harper, she's in lane 7 from Northampton. Ella Carroll, lane 8, NCL Limerick. And at the very top of your screen there is Brogan O'Hara. She's from Leander. She's in lane 9. But already, based on entry times, Amelia Kane has an entry time over 20 seconds faster than any other lady in this event. She's taking the lead here. 16-year-old, 17-year-old from Ireland, so a local girl. And the commentator that you're going to hear in the background, that is quite loud and probably interfering with our levels here, is Andrew Bree, of course, Olympic semi-finalist, and did all of his domestic swimming from Ireland on a product of Ireland Swimming Club, so he'll be keeping a close eye on it. So Amelia Kane, 17-year-old from Ireland, she's in lane 4. She's not been let totally away with it at the moment, but it's Catherine Bailey from Perth City Swimming Club. She's just above her. She's in the second of the yellow lines. And then Jessica Gannon, she's down here in lane 3, and Grace Hodgkins in lane 2. So it seems like it's those 4 ladies for the moment. So going over in the time of 2:13.61 is Amelia Kane from the Arts Club.
Great swim here from Amelia. We've seen her again in a couple of races already this morning. Really strong swim here, going out nice and controlled. I'd say she would like to be a little bit further ahead. You can see her kind of when she's breathing, taking a quick peek to see where people are, maybe just for comfort, as she knows that she is 20 seconds faster than the rest of the field. But it's very hard to know in a 1500. You can't get into anybody else's mind. You just have to swim your own race, and it's your lane, and that's it. So from a 1500 point of view, she's only done 250 metres. She's got a long way to go before she's close to finishing up.
So only a sixth of the way through this event. And there's a lead developing, but not as significant as we expected. Interesting stroke here. How would you analyse her stroke? So that's Amelia Kane. Is she a little bit short?
She is a little bit short. She's not really finishing her stroke out past her hips, so she's just coming up a little bit short, and it's quite short at the front as well. She's not really reaching, so that means she's not actually grabbing all the water in the front. Although when I look not on the screen, she is kind of going long underneath the water, so she maybe that's how she does it, but definitely on the back end she's a little bit short.
Yeah, so swimming is a sport of balance. If you're short at the front, means you're going to be short at the back. What we want to do when we're swimming freestyle is we don't actually want to swim it on our front, we want to swim it on our side. So we use our hips, our abs and our feet to actually turn our body onto the side, which means that we're narrow going through the water, and then when we want to turn we just flick onto the other side. So it's almost like a corkscrew going through the water. In order to enable that one, as Ronja was saying, needs to be long in the water. And so if one part of the stroke is short, the rest of it's going to be short. So by contrast, we see the swimmer here in the green half, she's a lot more efficient. That's Jessica Gannon. She's from the NCL Com.
Grace Hodgkins.
Sorry, I'm reading it the wrong way. Okay, so it's Grace Hodgkins. So she's a very, very nice long stroke. Grace Hodgkins from Trojan. You can see that she's actually finishing it out, and consequently she has to take a fewer strokes than our leader.
And if you have to take fewer strokes, you're going to save energy for the end of your race, or even just overall, you're able to save energy so you can swim faster. So that's why we want longer and faster strokes.
So speaking of our leader, it's Amelia Kane. Not stretching ahead as we would have expected her to do so. She's only got a couple of second lead here in a 5 metre lead. Day number 2. You see Grace Hodgkins, the 15-year-old from Trojan. She's actually coming back, and she's actually stretching ahead of the people chasing her for that 3rd position. But back at the head of affairs, Amelia Kane, 17-year-old from Ards. Catherine Bailey from Perth City Swimming Club. She's not letting her away, and you can see it's interesting that Bailey is beginning to swim closer and closer to that lane line. The closer you swim to the lane line, the better chance that you have of actually getting some drag, as the water is moving in a forward direction. It's easier to go through it rather than it being stationary. But top of affairs, beginning to see a little bit of a push here. We're still early enough, relatively early into this event. We're only 550 metres into it, so we're just over a third into the event. Expecting a time based on entry times of about 17 minutes and 20 seconds for Kane. Kane up there in lane 4, surrounded by those yellow lane lines. Pretty consistent stroke, albeit somewhat short, but again, still hanging on to her is Catherine Bailey, the 16-year-old from Perth Swimming Club. So we're coming in now. 600 metres done. See Kane working the underwater butterfly kick, which helps swimmers get out underneath the wave that is following them. Kane breathing to the right hand side. These swimmers will get into a rhythm and they get into a flow, and it's almost like they're on a running machine almost. They could be counting in their head, but certainly be thinking about something and trying to control that breathing. Of course, when you swim, you never stop breathing, you never hold your breath, you breathe out when your head is in the water, giving the best opportunity to get oxygen in as you're turn your head out of the water. But that's Amelia Kane, 17-year-olds from the Arts, Catherine Bailey, 16-year-old from the Perth Swimming Club, and in 3rd position we see this 15-year-old from Trojan, Grace Hodgkins. She's got a long, smooth stroke. Seems that there's something going on with her hat there. It's almost half off, but I'm sure it won't bother her too much. But again, at the top, with 700 metres left to go, it's Amelia Kane from the Arts Club.
Amelia Kane's stroke hasn't changed at all here. She's kept her stroke very, very consistent, and she is being chased down by Catherine Bailey from Perth City Swim Club. Catherine is not leaving her go. She is trying to push back every time. I do think that Catherine's underwater work is a little bit longer than Amelia's. For a distance swimmer, you don't really need to have that much, like a lot of underwater work, but just 1 or 2 to get you back into that rhythm. You don't want to go under 10 metres because it's going to take you longer to get back into a rhythm.
Good, so Amelia Kane, she's working away there. You can see the legs consistently moving. Seems to be a lot faster than Catherine Bailey's kick right, but Bailey seems to be coming back at it. There's about a 5 metre lead. You can see it when she comes off the ball here. Bailey, she's reduced that lead down to about 4 metres, but it looks like Amelia Kane is going to the legs, which is, we're over halfway through. You'd expect some sort of a push now. But Bailey surprised me here in terms of entry times. We would have expected that Kane would be a lot further ahead at this stage, given that there's over 20 seconds of a difference between entry times. So what do you make of that, Brian?
I think actually Bailey looks a lot more comfortable at the moment than Amelia Kane. She's in a really good rhythm. She just looks very smooth and comfortable swimming it, and that's what you want in 1500. Amelia Kane looks a little bit more, maybe a little bit tired, I'm not sure, but she is going from strength to strength. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen in the last 500, the last 200 even, because it's still anyone's game here. There's still 600 metres to go, so Bailey could close the gap even more and fight Amelia Kane off. But at the moment, I think Amelia Kane has a very clear picture of where Catherine Bailey is and is working off that.
So Amelia Kane seems to have extended her lead, maybe by half a body length, 2 body lengths, but not giving up. Of course, is Catherine Bailey, 16-year-old from Perth City Swim Club. Amelia Kane, of course, from the Arts Club, and in third place at the moment is Grace Hodgkins from the Trojan Swimming Club. She's down there in lane number 3, and we can't see her in the shot here, but I think we've got a little bit of inexperience, a little bit of youth on display here. She's almost swimming this as if she's in a training session. So in training sessions, because we've got so many people in, we're going to swim up one side of the lane and down the other side of the lane, the opposite side of the lane. But what's happening here is we see that Hodgkins is swimming, doing exactly that. She's almost circling within her lane, as opposed to when you consider the two swimmers in the lead, that's Amelia Kane and Catherine Bailey. They're actually swimming up and down the middle of the pool. So, as we all know, the shortest time to get between 2 points is a straight line. So that's something that Bailey and her coach will need to, Hodgkins rather, and her coach will need to look at, because she's certainly losing some time by the fact that she's actually circling. But up at the top of the affairs, not much change since we spoke last. Amelia Kane still there, got a little bit more of a push on her. She's actually swimming away on the right hand side of the lane now, trying to get away from Bailey. 450 metres left. That's a 12 minutes 11. So we're looking certainly in around the 17 minutes for this. In terms of the final time. These two ladies will be beginning to hurt now. This is where the pain comes in. Of course, one is very difficult to explain what that pain is like, Ronnie, unless you've gone through it yourself.
It is different, and I think it makes you tougher at the end of the day, and this is where it's good to do these races in heavy training. So here is Amelia Kane. She does know that Bailey is coming up on her tail. She is trying to keep nice and relaxed, I suppose is the best way to describe it, but you can feel the pain. It's not an easy event. That last 500 metres is probably the hardest of the whole 1500 metres.
And when this event was introduced, there were some people saying it shouldn't be introduced in the same vein as the 800 metres shouldn't be introduced for the men. So for people who weren't that familiar with it, up until recently it was only a 1500 metre for men and an 800 metre for women. No 800 for men, no 1500 metre for women. So I think it's been welcomed and embraced by the swimming community as a good move.
It has. I suppose some people's concern is that, like, if you go to Europeans Worlds, you go Olympics, you're doing an 800 heat in the morning, and then the final is the next day. If you are lucky enough to come back for the final, it's a long time. It's not a long time to recover. And then if you add a 1500 in for women and an 800 in for men, will that mess up the program? And I think it's great that it's in the program, because I think a lot of athletes will do the 800 if they're doing the 1500.
So it comes down to a scheduling issue. So these ladies, of course, in the short term, have their sights on coming towards the end of this. We've got 250 metres left. So that's the sixth of this event left when it comes to the next turn. And it's as you were, Amelia Kane. She's actually stretched out her lead a little bit. And she's up there in lane number 4. We can see her up at the top. You can see that lead is now extended to about 7 or 8 metres, whereas previously, when we spoke to you last, it was about 5. Catherine Bailey from Perth City Swim Club, she's up there in lane 5. And still in third position is the Trojan swimmer Grace Hodgkins. She's 15 years of age, and she's been in that third position for a long time. But coming up in the back half of this race, which we call the second half of the race, is Molly McCullagh from Leander. She's been quiet up to now, but now she's reduced the lead that Hodgkins would have down to about 7 or 8 metres. So it'll be interesting to see if she can actually pull that back over the concluding 250 metres. Big ask, but not impossible. But at the head of affairs, Amelia Kane, 17-year-old from Lawrence. Big home contingent here, changing her on. You can see many people in the crowds cheering, and a couple of people getting on their feet now. This, of course, is an international title. It's the Dave McCullagh International Meet in memory of Dave McCullagh, who was really the leading light from a administrative point of view and coaching point of view of Irish swimming. He sadly passed away in 2002 after an illness. Big honour for these swimmers to be here. Amelia Kane Hards, less than 150 metres to go. She's going to tie this up. Looks like she won't be caught. Catherine Bailey, she looks like she's going to secure the silver medal bar. Complete disaster. And still back in third place, Grace Hodgkins, still maintaining that 6 to 7 metre lead over Molly McCullagh.
Great swim here from Amelia Kane. She's actually pulled away quite a lot there from Catherine Bailey in the last 100-200 metres. She's really stretched that lead, and looks even more comfortable now. And in actual fact, her stroke looks a little bit longer.
It does, yeah. So maybe the faster she goes, maybe she's lengthening it out a bit. You can see in the front end there, she's actually catching the water a little bit more on the right hand side. She might be digging a little bit with her right hand, but it seems to be working for her. I want to keep an eye here, Grania, on her entry time. Her entry time was 17:19, so she's turned in 16:54. So she will not do that, but it's a good victory for her nonetheless. You can see that the legs, she's gone to the legs, which is extremely hard to do at the end of this 1500 metre. The longest event in the pool, of course, we have the 5k and the 10k open water swims, but they don't obviously happen in the pool. But coming in to take the title, Amelia Kane from the Yards Club, 17 years of age, led from the start to the finish. 17:29.12, relatively pleased with that. In second place, Catherine Bailey had an entry time of 17:41. She's come in underneath that, and you can see coming home in the third place. She's lost her hat, but nonetheless kept going. Grace Hodgkins rather, from the Trojan Swimming Club. She came in 17:56, so happy enough to go under the 18 minutes. Just slightly outside of her entry time, but a bronze medal for all of her hard work. And then Molly McCullagh, I'm unlucky there. I think she left her push too long. The Leander swim coming in at fourth. And the final swimmer coming in there, up in lane 8, Ella Carroll. So that is the end of the 1500 metres for today. Amelia Kane the winner, followed home by Catherine Bailey, Perth City Swim Club, and in third position Grace Hodgkins from the Trojan Swim Club, finishing in third place. And that concludes our coverage. My thanks to Grania Murphy for her company today. I think we'll be back here again this afternoon for 4:30. And we got a series of heats, and please do join us, and we look forward to speaking to you at 4:30 from the Aura Leisure Centre here in Bangor, County Down.